All right, I just got everything sanded down. Everything is covered in sawdust, but it's okay. It's man glitter. I got the shirt to prove it. So what I did was actually take the original, the one I showed you earlier, and I kind of tore it down a little bit, down to individual pieces. And what that's going to do is allow me to mark all of my holes. See, I kind of drilled holes through the bottom. Now I drilled holes through the base of it, and this is actually going to cover all of the tie wraps to hold everything together. So what I'm going to do here is all these holes that I have through here in my template, I just cross them over to my other board, and I want to make sure they're there. 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. Oh my gosh, I got it right. All right, so again, I'm doing 4 of these at one time. So I'm going to grab 4 boards. I'm going to take it to the drill press, drill, and do all 4 of them at the same time. So when I come back, you're going to have some boards with some holes in it. All right, drill press makes short work of it. Got holes in all of these. Hopefully they're kind of sort of in the right spot, I hope. But I think they still should be good. So the bases are all done. Next thing we want to do is this board right here. And all this really is just nailed along the base here. And also have these little tabs here that is actually going to keep the board, the sidewalls from actually caving in. So we are going to nail those together. Yeah. All right, so real quick though, on some of the dimensions, I forgot to do that a little bit earlier. These guys right here, the bases are 16 inches long. That means the sidewalls are 16 inches long. And then these guys here, which is the top plate. And then we're gonna put a few of these going this way. This right here was, I believe, 13. Some change. That would be 13.5 for the top plate. Now all these boards that are going sideways, those are 6 5/8. Now these 6 5/8 boards are going to be covering the front base. They're also going to cover the top lid as well. We're going to get to that here in a minute. All right, so we got our base here. We're going to have 2 little sticks here. Now, one thing we want to do is make it to where this guy will sit flush. So now, we're just going to use this board here because it's the same width as the sides. So I'm going to put that along the side as a spacer. There we go. Bam! I'll use that as a spacer again. All right, so the side with all the holes right here is going to be where the header is going to be. And basically we're just going to stick that guy right there. Oh my goodness, it's coming out party. The sideboards, which would be the 16s. What I'm going to do is hold that there and get my pencil, and I'm going to mark it right there. There you go. Now, what measurement is that? That is 4 3/4. So this is going to be our side. We need a 4 3/4. Now we just need to rip that off real quick. And what we're going to do is actually just take it to the circular saw or the table saw and go and have them all done. Now that we are building 4, so that means we have 8 sides. So I need 8 boards. All right, so we got our sides ripped down, and then what we need to do is build a top. Now I've already built one real quick. Sorry, these are the 6 5/8. So these are the 6 5/8, 6 5/8, 6 5/8, and this right here is the 13.5. All right, so let's build this one real quick, and then we'll build the sides. Put this out of the way. I'm gonna grab another 13. All right, so I need to get 2 of the 6 1/2 or 6 5/8. And the problem though is that it doesn't quite fit all the way through. So what I did was actually take another one of those and actually cut it directly in half. So now, boom, now it fits perfectly. Get rid of this little booger right here. Be right back. Okay, So now we have all this going across. So in order to build this right here, and all this is going to get painted and stuff like that, so you won't be able to see all this imperfections. Now sometimes I will leave it in raw form, only because then it kind of looks like an old, something your grandfather would give you. So anyway, so we have our boards. Always look at see which way that they are warped or crowned or whichever one you want to call it. So that it doesn't look like a big wavy wave. Try to get them all to match. So we're going to put the little skinny one in the middle. All right. So that's a little off. There we go. Feels a little better. All right, we're going to take our 13.5. We're going to put it right there in the middle. So then we're going to take, let's make sure at least one side is nice and straight. If one side is straight, you can sand down the other, and you're only sanding down one side instead of two sides. All right. So we're going to make sure that this board is centered from this side and this side, because what we're going to do is actually take another board and sandwich it there. So make sure she is centered as best you can. I'm just going to eyeball it. You know, it's what I do. So anyway, so then we're going to go. Another thing too, when you're actually using a nail gun, always wear your safety glasses, all that good stuff. But you can have your nail this way and nail that way. And what I have here is actually a staple. So it basically goes, it's basically 2 into 1. So I usually use a staple. If I can get it in there. And you can go this way, you can go that way, this way. I always try to keep them the same all the way across. And not only that, with the staple, it kind of goes up and down. Try to get as many pieces of the grain as possible. If you have it this way, you're not really getting the grain. You might be getting into the same grain, which will not be as strong. And also, don't forget to oil your tools. All right, so I'm gonna push enough pressure on there. Bam, bam. All right, so now we have our nice little top. So it does have a few imperfections here. A lot of our nails kind of came through. I'm gonna take that on the belt sander, knock that off. I'm gonna do that right now. Be right back. All right, so it's relatively smooth. Once you paint it, you will not see any of those imperfections. So we have our lid. Now, let's go back to our base that we were just playing with. All right. We found some flat area, maybe. And I'm just going to put this together. I'm going to take it back apart because I have other things I need to do to it. But let's go ahead and throw a couple of hinges on there just so you'll understand exactly what we're looking at. There it is. Okay, so let's, all right, make sure all this is nice and even. Your hinge is nice and straight. Because if these things are off, then when you close it up, one's a little dip. Yeah, we don't want to do that. All right. So we have our sides. All right, so now we have our sides up, we have our back up. Now let's see about our top. Now the reason why this is shorter than the walls is because this side here is actually going to have your PVC stuff kind of sticking up. There was actually a different design that I really wanted to do, but it couldn't get it to work right, so we're going to stick with this. So what we're going to do is trying to find whichever board is warped the most. This is reclaimed wood. Find which one's warped the most. I'm going to say this guy here. It's kind of kitty-wampus a little bit. So when I put this board on and nail it in, I can actually draw in part of the warp. And hopefully try to straighten it up a little bit. She is a little bit off. There we go. All right. There we go. She is up there. Once I put the latch up there, I should be able to pull it in a little bit better. And also if I put all the screws into here as well. I haven't put them all in because I'm getting ready to take it back out again. So this guy's up there, and what I'm going to do is actually put a couple rounds going sideways. So we have nails going this way, we have nails going that way, and hopefully it will stay together. Beautiful. All right. Yeah, I'm hoping once I put those hinges in correctly, these guys will sit a little bit better. There you go. All right, now everything is still flat. Everything is looking pretty good. So looks like the only thing we have left now is to take the hinges back off and paint it. Once we paint it, then we should be in a lot better shape. There you go. Ready for launch. Close it up. Store it. Ready. All right, so as you can see, I have some holes drilled into these, one on either side, and also have a bunch of string kind of laid out, just kind of maybe what, about 2 foot or so. You can adjust it to the size of your rig, and what you're going to do is just feed that through and then just give it a good tie. Overhand knots work great, square knots, taut line, you know, anything will actually work. So just make sure it's nice and snug and tight, and then just snip off the excess. There you go. Now you're going to do that on all 5 of them, so that is 10 strings, and I'm pretty sure you do not want to see me do that. What we're going to do is make sure that this is going to work. So we have this there. And then this goes on top, bam. And then these strings will be some eyelets down here on the base. I'll get that here in a minute. And then you go boop, and then this goes off. I'm excited. All right, our other boards seem to be dry. We're gonna line these up nice and pretty like. Go ahead and mark my holes. All right. That's closed. That's closed. Then we'll put a latch over here, which I'll do that here in a second. But first, let's put this guy together. All right. So you open it up, boom, you have a launch. So let's grab this guy, pull our sleeve off, and this guy is going to sit right in here. All right, so now we're going to attach everything in there. This time we're just going to use some black tie wraps. So if you look inside, I have all my tie wraps. Here, all my tie wraps are aiming in the right direction. I'm gonna go downstairs. I don't have them with me, but I have some flush cuts. I'm gonna go ahead and cut those down because those will turn into razor blades on your hands. So, also I already installed some eyelets right here next to the neck, and they just look like, maybe if I can grab a hold of one of these guys. Yeah, just a little eyelet. And all that's gonna do is follow the string or guide the string to go pull straight down. You can use pulleys if you like. I don't have that kind of cash. I'm using refurbished wood, for goodness sake. It's not that I don't think my patrol is worth it. I just don't have that kind of cash. All right, so we're gonna line that up. Now we have 2 strings. And I usually just tie it down here at the bottom, go slide it underneath. I think we're ready. Pull that up. All right. So you stick your bottle in, bam. Pull your sleeve up, that holds it. You get water in. Air in. Pressurize, boom. Now what I usually do is put a regulator down here that you can adjust. Say you want 50 pounds, 60 pounds, 100 pounds, whatever it is that you want to use, that's what you kind of regulate this for. You can have a little handle, squeeze handle to regulate it if you like. But basically, you ready to launch? Pull your string. Boom, there you go. Another one on there. Fill, launch. Fill, launch. That's the concept. So basically, this is basically the finished product. The only thing I have left to do on this that I kind of want to do is that when this is closed, I got my latch up here. What I want to do is actually I want to have a stencil sitting over here, and that I'll show you that in a different video on stenciling. But I have a local company, the Sassy Cow, over here in Fuquay, going to do some fantastic work on that. Hopefully they'll be able to get it to me sometime tomorrow, so that I can finish this and hand it out this weekend to my patrol. All right, hopefully you guys enjoyed how to make this guy. This is a little bit more elaborate than a lot of the other ones that I've done in the past, but I wanted to make it into some sort of a box. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but I think that they would appreciate it because it was handmade. And also, a Scout is thrifty, so we reused what we had. So there you go. Your water rocket launcher. All right, so you see me build these things. I have one of my old launchers up here. It's not exactly the exact one that we just built, but it's the same concept, and you'll get the idea of how to put your rocket on. So this one right here I just kind of threw together out of just some scrap pieces of bottle, and I got a nose cone, I got a parachute in there. With this wind, if a parachute does open, that's probably be halfway down the road. But I got simple little fins, which are just cardboard. Kids can cut them out and it works great. So this is how we put it on the launcher. We're gonna put it straight down. Make sure our nose cone's on there. And then on the bottom, we'll try to do this with one hand. And not happening. There we go. There she goes. Oh, I hope I wasn't stepping on the string. All right, so put my nose cone back on. Now, if you put this on too tight, then as it goes up, it will, there you go. It won't fall off, and then you become a missile rather than a rocket. So, first thing you want to do is look straight down. Make sure your fins are relatively straight. Good. All right. So now we need to fill it up. Just like I showed you before, we got the water line in, we got the air line in. I think I have it set for maybe 60 PSI. We're gonna try that first. And what the goal is actually put enough water to air ratio in order to get a good lift off. So I'm gonna open up my valve. I'm gonna try right about there. Then I put my air in. All right. So once you get your regulator set to wherever you really need it to have, once you open that up, it should equalize and it should be right at that PSI level. So I'm gonna make sure my nose cone's on. I'm gonna back up a little bit, and then you get to see it launch. All right, so that could be used some a little bit of improvement. Probably stick her down with the air pressure and also water, and actually get it to go higher. But that actually went pretty well. So anyway, I'm gonna do one more and then we'll talk about it. All right, so I have a little bit less water in there. The main thing that you want to deal with, especially when you're dealing with kids, is try to get them to understand water's heavy, but you need the water as propulsion. You can compress air, but you can't compress water. So you need to have a good medium between air pressure and water. Go through the steps. Okay, less water, more water, less air, more air, you know, that type of thing. This particular way, with these type of launchers, you can do it pretty quickly and they don't get bored with it as fast. I do have two launchers right here. This is the one I'm using, and then I have that one. And the way I usually have it is have one over there and then one over here, and put a Y on there, and they just keep launching them up. We always have a safety person to say, hey, watch out, there's one falling on your head. But anyway, let's launch this one and see where it goes. And of course, it's not going to come down. He'll come down later. But anyway, hopefully that will give you some sense of what we're trying to do here. And also, go ahead and build your own simple little parts. You get it at any hardware store, and the kids have fun with it for hours. But yeah, so it was good stuff. So anyway, go ahead and like, subscribe, and let me know what you think. And maybe we'll make some other launchers or other projects. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyway, until then, catch you later. Bye.